Greetings, fellow explorers of Pioneer. I bring you yet another pile of a deck. Hi, I'm Amy the Amazonian, and this is one of my favorite decks to play. It is Good Grief, also known as my excuse to play Risen Reef Elementals, because I love this card. This card is like the value city that got so much better when they introduced this guy, Omnath, Locus of Creation. Amazingly, Omnath, Locus of Creation is not banned in Pioneer, which means it's not banned in Explorer, which means I get to play it here. So what's the theme of this deck? Well, first you ramp, then you ramp, and well, actually you just keep ramping, and the ramp is its own reward because this deck has a bit of a combo win con to it. You might notice I have a copy of Thassa's Oracle in here, and I also have these Omnath, Locus of Creations, in addition to Zendikar's Roil. So what the goal of this deck is to get out Risen Reef, get out Zendikar's Roil, and this is just like a bonus because you can just win through straight value, like damage off Omnath, but this is like the sub-goal of this deck. Zendikar's Roil is get an elemental when a land enters the battlefield. Cool. Risen Reef is very often, in a deck with this many lands, going to be, hey, an elemental entered the battlefield. Get a land. So you get land, elemental, land, elemental, land, elemental, until you go through your entire deck. You're not drawing, so you don't draw out. Then you have enough mana to play Thassa's Oracle, party hard, win the game. You got Genesis Ultimatums. Really, this deck kind of just plays itself. What are its weak points? Well, I play this deck super greedy, which means that I'm not really addressing the early game, so mono red aggro and a lot of other very fast decks are able to get in under it. I have these Yasharns in here because sacrifice decks and treasures are very real. Also, it's an elemental. And, yeah, I threw a couple little friends down here, mostly just ramp pieces, and it's an 80-card deck because otherwise you'll run out of fuel before you get enough elementals to one-shot your opponent with Omnath, or, I don't know, get all the Scutes in the world. And Yorion is really just an excuse to run more cards. So let's go into the queue. Let's party hard. I see we're up against royalty. It's Prince Eugene. Hi, Eugene. How you doing? All right, so Eugene of Savoy? Like the cabbage? Yeah, all right, let's go. I see they got an Ashaya avatar. You know what I have? Ramp. Let's go. Don't even bother waiting until the next turn, because who even needs it? Also, it appears that my opponent is doing the same thing as me. Oh, wait, never mind. I saw that they were Teamer, and I was like, oh, it's going to be Elementals. They probably are still running Omnath, but I think that they're running Adventures, because there's a Lucky Clover on the battlefield, and if you're not running Adventures and you have a Lucky Clover in your deck, that's really weird. I have one Adventure in this deck, but it's just a bit of a tech piece. Alright, Growth Spiral. When you have the ability to draw your entire deck in one turn, you can kind of go wild with one-ofs and like fun cards that don't necessarily need to be in the deck, but are really fun to have in the deck. So they actually haven't really done anything, which is great for me, because it means that I'm able to do this. Generate way too much mana, and Genesis Ultimatum. What is this, my turn 4? Yeah, that seems fair. Okay, I'm gonna shock that in. I'm gonna swap which Omnath we have out. I know I haven't attacked with this one, but it means I'm going to get the triggers again for this Omnath, because now with Ashaya out, everything is a land. Oh, sure, I'll happily get more lands in. And you might notice I have a lot of mana floating. Oh, Omnath, I would love to get that Omnath in hand. We're gonna generate some mana, just gonna spread it around the colors because I don't really feel like thinking right now. And we're gonna play Omnath, Locus of the Roil. We got more of these in the deck so we can bring them back later. Sure, put a +1/+1 counter on this guy. Then deal some damage to their face. Growth Spiral, you say? How lovely. I'm gonna generate some more mana. And unfortunately, Yorion can't actually blink these because they're all lands, thanks to Ashaya. But I can get out Lotus Cobra, and... Okay, triggers are happening. The Lotus Cobra is itself a land, triggering Landfall. Oh, of course. Another Lotus Cobra, which is also a land, triggering Landfall. And because it's a land entering the battlefield, it means Omnath is drawing me cards. What a nice little elemental you are. And I still haven't even played out this other Risen Reef, which I think I'll do right now. I'll start targeting this one. A land, you say? Why, I would love one. A land, you say? Of course. Making mana in the colors. These Risen Reefs keep on triggering. And we're still getting more mana. And I haven't even cast the Escape to the Wilds yet. That's kind of like what I'm waiting for here. There we go. Escape to the Wilds, see what we get. Oh, another Escape to the Wilds. I'm actually just going to chain those right here. A third one, not really what I'm looking for, so I'm going to go for this Cavalier of Thorns. It's going to get me some Landfall triggers, and it's going to get the double Risen Reef triggers. What I'm looking for right now is another one of this Omnath, Locus of the Roil. And our opponent sees, oh god, there's nothing I can do here. I don't have a board wipe. Even if I did, they've got more value. They've dumped all these lands. They could still play 3 more lands this turn. Oh gee, oh no, I'm out of here. You know what? That's good. By the way, I believe that was my turn 4. Gamers. Let's see, Zephard's over here filing tax paperwork. And I'm over here with turn 2 ramp. Let's go. I'll keep it. By the way, the addition of the new Triomes is really nice for this deck. The mana base for this deck is a total monster piece. You can really do with it whatever you want as long as you have enough different colors between shock lands, those slow lands from the recent Innistrad set. Each person, I think, is going to find their own way to sort of address their mana base. I just put in all the Triomes, because I love Triomes. Ooh, there's a Bone Crusher Giant. Bones? In this economy? And here's a little Omnath. It's just dealing 1 damage to face, but it's kind of offering a, now there's a threat on the board. It can grow. It's a nice little guy. And if you kill it, I don't really mind. Ba-boom! Taking 4. I don't want to make that trade quite yet. I think I'm going to go for Ashaya next turn. I could escape. I think it depends a bit on if this is alive. Alright, no, they've bounced it back into hand. If I play Ashaya, she will be a 6/6. Go for it. Might be a counterspell. Yep, divide by 0. Not quite a counterspell, but it does undo the progress I would have made this turn. And the lesson they've learned is teaching of the Archaics. Ah. Yeah, I do have a lot more cards in hand. Because you put them there. Because you put them there. Jerk. Fine. This time we're getting Roilin'. I'm gonna play that Fabled Passage. It's early enough in the game. I've only seen 2 of my, I think there's like 10 basics in the deck. This way, I have blockers, I have attackers, and I also have more payoff for playing Ashaya next turn. Oh, a Foretell, you say? This looks like it's just an Isn't mid-range deck, which is kind of nice. I'm gonna go for a double block. If they bounce or kill one of these, that's totally fine. I'm going to go for the Forest here. Because, I mean, I would have been blocking with one anyway, and them killing one is pretty much the same to me. Let's see if they bounce. Maybe another Feeding Hope. Brazen Borrower. Better that it's on the Elemental than on the Zendikar's Roil. So, now we're gonna make it so we don't really have that many non-land permanents. This is a non-land permanent. And that's it. There we go. We got a big, thick Ashaya. Outrun's Epiphany. It was foretold. That was the spell that they had put away. They're able to cast it for just 6 mana, and now they've got an extra turn and a couple birdies. Very possible that's another one. There's very few spells that you foretell early on in your turn, but that is one of the big ones. So I'm going to go for Omnath. This is a bit of a tricky card. If it happens to be a counterspell, wonderful. And if not, we're going to have some fun. Omnath immediately gains me 4 life. I'm going to play a land. Omnath is going to get me 4 mana. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elementals here. And between 2 different Omnath casts, I should have lethal just by targeting their face. Oh, girl, that does not matter. You just meant I'm just gonna get these triggers again. Oh, they learned, but they did it through discard. We're an elemental I control. One of the ones that's gonna attack this turn. And we're gonna bap their face. And then I'm gonna play other Omnath. Other Omnath sounds pretty good. Here it comes. Doesn't matter which I keep. Oh, whoops. Looking for the +1/+1 counters. Just gonna spread the love. And now we're gonna swing in for lethal. We had a lot of different routes we could go there for lethal, but I like this one. Doesn't involve slam jam, thank you, ma'am. And hit with the big ol' Ashaya. Let's go. This hand does nothing until turn 4. Keep. I'm just going to hope that with this kind of nice slew of possibly untapped lands, I can draw into something. And it looks like we're up against Greasefang, which is a deck trying to cheat out the Parhelion 2. Big ol' skyship. Gonna hit my face. Make angels. Oh, Sacred Foundry. I, too, have a land that I'm going to let come in tapped. Your move, Psy Hunter. Oh, they're gonna sacrifice the Citrus Supplier, aren't they? Wait. No, they're actually Fatal Pushing? I think they have a Can't Stay Away in hand. Because they already had a Greasefang, but they didn't have a Parhelion in the graveyard. Yeah, one of the strange moves that you can do in this sort of deck is you can Thoughtseize yourself to discard a Greasefang or a Parhelion as a reanimation target. But looks like I'm getting Thoughtseize. They don't want me to make it so they can't sacrifice their treasures, which does make a lot of sense to me. I'm gonna shock in though. Get Yorion here. I'm trying to line up the right mana for Omnath or Omnath next turn. That's 3 mana. They have a lot of turn 3 playables in this deck. And I'm feeling like they might have a really awkward hand. And I'm totally down with that, because them having an awkward hand means I have a better hand. Here's Omnath! Remember, I kept a hand that didn't do anything. So them not doing anything gives me a chance. Also, I got a Fabled Passage here, which means we're gonna get a couple of landfall triggers unless they kill this Omnath. Like a couple landfall triggers. I think I can line up a Genesis Ultimatum. Alright, so they're gonna Can't Stay Away. They have Sky Sovereign now in the graveyard, which is not the Parhelion, but still pretty good. I'm gonna crack this open. I'm gonna go for a blue source, maybe a red source. Let's go with the red source here, because that gives me everything I need for the Genesis Ultimatum! And it was all lands. Fine, you know what? I am gonna shotgun. Yeah, I'm gonna shotgun. Because it gives me 4 mana, and I guess I can cast Omnath. Other Omnath. And we boop them. Boop. And they already have pretty much all the pieces they want in the graveyard. They have the Sky Sovereign. So I'm willing to attack in here. Kind of put some pressure on. They're going to be able to Can't Stay Away and bring back Sky Sovereign. That thing does not get the On Death trigger because it was brought back with a Can't Stay Away. And we have 2 more Genesis Ultimatums. So that looks really good for next turn. Okay, mill another rat. I feel like they're struggling. At 5 mana, they could have brought back a Greasefang. It looks like they had one in hand. So here's Sky Sovereign. Sky Sovereign can kill Omnath, but I have a spare. And we'll take 6 to the face. But oh, by the power of the ultimatum! Let's get some value, baby. Chandra, that thing. Let's go. Yeah, I'll chuck that in.
Let's make this quick. I've got other things to burn.
And hey, you know what's really cool? Lapping these. Lap! Now, I can exile Greasefang, kill the Stitcher's Spire. They can probably bring them back with a land. I think I'll just go for the -3. I think exiling them is kind of a pain in the butt.
Or, you know, don't.
This way we're kind of locking in what they're able to do next turn. Also, notably, no Perhelions in the graveyard. I like to see that. I'm trying to decide which land I want to play here, if I want to try drawing 2 cards or just 1. I'm just gonna go for the 1, but leave up 3 mana in case I get, like, Risen Reef. Didn't. Alright, here's a Growth Spiral. Gonna put this Forest into play. Draw another card. And I'm gonna drop a Fabled Passage. I'm going to drop one of these Omnaths, because I do have spares. And... choices. Let's go with the Zendikar's Roil. I don't think I need it. I do want these lands, though. So, if they have another Can't Stay Away and some other filtering in hand, they could do 2 things. But as it looks right now, the most they could do is Sky Sovereign shenanigans, and they'd have to get it in the graveyard. Right now, Sky Sovereign could deal 3 damage to Chandra. Doesn't do much. They're thinking about it. Yeah, I'm thinking about how much land I have. It's a lot. Hello, I'm Omnath. I'm a 7/7. Okay, Sorin is able to reanimate Greasefang and give lifelink to things. But they don't have a vehicle in the graveyard. That's the big thing. That's why I felt so safe being greedy last turn, shocking in lands. Head empty, graveyard empty. I'm ready to step. Oh, look! They got the Blood Tithe Harvester. That's going to give them blood, which lets them put things into the graveyard. Too little too late, though, buddy. I'm going to plus on the Chandra, and I'm going to get some Omnath crap going on. I draw a card. We get more damage. I'm going to crack it open again. Up to 9. Even got an escape to the wilds here. But why not do another Genesis Ultimatum, honestly? When given the choice to play Genesis Ultimatum, I feel like the right choice is to play Genesis Ultimatum. It's just so fun! It's got triggers! Everybody likes triggers! And look, more mana. Not that I need it. Hello. I'd like to attack your face for 11. Let's go! I keep. And I play Breeding Pool. There's also kind of a case to be made for playing Overgrown Farmland, since it does come in tapped also. I don't think I really need it, though, since I do have a land here. Emergent Sequence, and we want to get red mana. Okay. Clicking. There we go. There's the red. Ooh, is this going to be Cocoa Angels? A little bit of life gain? Yes, it is. Alright, there's a Righteous Valkyrie. Gonna be gaining them life. Well, at least I got an Omnath out bright and early. So, upside of Omnath, it's on the battlefield. Downside of Omnath, they could exile it. There are some, usually, Skyclave apparitions. Yeah. Able to permanently get rid of the Omnaths. A darned shame. Now I have choices here. I kind of like Shocking in the Land, going for Escape, just trying to ramp up to a really good turn next turn. I also like Scute Swarm, Fabled Passage, holding up Bone Crusher Giant. I roll Greed. Okay, I do have very good cards for the next turn. But unfortunately, it's not this turn. Now, if you have a Coco, you can do it as you attack in. Or they could just play Resplendent Angel. They'll gain 4 life, 1 off the Veteran, 1 off the Valkyrie. They are 1 off the buff from the Righteous Valkyrie. I'm gonna see how deep I can go on this turn. I feel like that's my biggest choice, or my biggest chance. Alright, Risen Reef didn't hit a land. But I've got another try. Got another chance here. The blue source. That's red. This is so hard to look at because it is a blue-green creature, but it is a mountain. Okay, got a land. So I gained some life. Another source of mana. Okay, so that's the end of this turn. Those go away. But I am alive. And it is very likely they're going to have a big scary hit in the air. But, as I've said before, we have combo potential in this deck, and none of the things that I let be exiled are, like, essential parts. I have a Risen Reef out, I have a Lotus Cobra out, I have a Genesis Ultimatum next turn. I'm pretty well set up. And for them to deal 13 damage, I think they would need to hit 2 Righteous Valkyries on the Coco. And that's like very, very high. Like very hard for them to do. Great, so it's just another Resplendent Angel. That is a great card. They are going to gain more life. It's going to put them over that threshold. They did have to order those triggers correctly. So now they're actually going to get 2 more Angels and gain a lot more life. And with this much life, it's going to get harder for me to combo off. They are swinging at me for lethal here. I don't have a spare of any of these creatures, which is rough. And I feel like, with what I have, the Risen Reef or the Omnath are the most sacrificable. But since I've already seen 2 of these Omnaths, I do want to keep the Lotus Cobra, because I think I need that. And now they're going to gain absurd amounts of life. 6 plus 6, another 12 plus 2. Yikes. Okay, there's the life gain. But here's the ultimatum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I unfortunately can only afford to shock in one land. And I'm not going to choose it to be one of these. I have 2 elementals. At their face. Gonna go for some more green, green, blue, blue. I'm gonna drop down another Lotus Cobra. And a Growth Spiral. It's another Genesis Ultimatum. I like that. Actually, I'm gonna go Dreamroot Cascade here. Make sure I generate the right mana here. Crack that open. Another red. There's Genesis Ultimatum number 2. We got more lands, which is more mana. Don't need to shock in yet. I have a Roil, Escape to the Wild, another Omnath here. How deep am I? Still have 35 cards left. We're going to escape. Oh my god, the double Risen Reef and a Genesis Ultimatum. That's beautiful. Yes, absolutely. Some stuff's happening. Just keep reefing. Just keep griefing. Also see an Ashaya here. I like his elemental is just like, yep, getting bigger. Don't mind me. Blue. Can very much shock this in now. I did gain life off the Omnaths. Okay. Green. Green. One short? Oh, I need one red. That's okay. I can play another land this turn. Let's go with the Rockfall Vale. 24 cards left. I should probably turn off auto-ordering triggers. In order to make sure I don't just draw out off this Omnath. Sure, 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 sure. Lands are falling. I like how I'm just, yeah, put all the counters on you. You're the only one who could attack. Okay. Blue, blue. Red. Mostly blue. I have to make sure I can cast the Thassa's Oracle here. Okay. Sorry, I'm just double checking. I have the Roil here. We could go deeper on that. Let's use this Growth Spiral for now, because it's kind of net neutral for me. World Tree. We could just survive the turn by hitting that, but I'm looking to win. I'm looking to win this turn, and I know I can do it. This is now, everything is lands. Put it into play. It's an Ancient Greenwarden. That gets really dangerous. Put it into play tapped. Almost through. And right now my devotion to blue is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this should end it. And a growth spiral. Nice, a Risen Reef. Uh-oh. Timers are starting to get hefty here. Six. Okay, we Risen Reef, then we Oracle. I could have just Oracled there, but I don't trust like that. Decline. We decline there so we don't end up accidentally drawing out. We make our blue, and then we play the Oracle. Victory! Ha-ha! Oh, sure. I still have triggers. Nice. From the brink of death to the cusp of victory. Love to see it. Love to see it. I know it, like, took me, what, 10 minutes to finish that? But that's sometimes how this deck is. It's a little bit of, like, playing with yourself. You're kind of solitaring through your deck. But that's fun at times. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing my Good Grief deck. One of my favorite decks that I'm so happy I get to play again. As always, Omnath is a silly card and probably shouldn't exist, but as long as I'm allowed to play it, I'm going to play it. I hope you enjoyed this, and be sure to check out my stream at twitch.tv/Amazonian, where I recorded this, and so much other magic happens. Oh my god, like, we're playing Magic 8 hours a day. Come on over. Bye.